What if I told you that your entire life could change not in a year, not in a decade, but in a single month? All it takes is one decision, one choice to commit. That's not motivational fluff, it's the mindset of Elon Musk. The man who went from couch surfing to revolutionizing energy, space, and transportation. He didn't wait for the perfect moment. He didn't wait to be ready. He simply decided to go all in. And if you're watching this right now, it's your time to make that same decision. The first step to transforming your life is deciding that you're no longer going to live on autopilot. You see, most people wait. They wait for the right mood, the right partner, the right inspiration. But the truth is, success doesn't wait. And Elon Musk never did either. At just 17, he left South Africa alone, believing that America was the land of innovation. That wasn't luck, it was a calculated leap. A decision made in discomfort, backed by insane belief. So, what's the decision you're avoiding right now? Is it starting your business? Ending something toxic? Investing in your skills? Think about this. Every moment you delay is time you'll never get back. Elon once said, "You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve." And yet, most people run from problems. Musk runs straight at them. Let's go deeper. Making a powerful decision isn't about motivation, it's about clarity. Elon's secret isn't discipline alone, it's alignment. He wakes up knowing exactly what problem he's trying to solve. Whether it's building a multi-planet species or designing electric cars, every action he takes is tied to a mission. That's why he doesn't burn out. That's why his drive doesn't fade. So here's the formula. Decision, direction, discipline. You don't need more willpower, you need fewer distractions. Decide what matters, cut what doesn't, and don't look back. In your first week of this 30-day transformation, focus on eliminating noise. Elon removes anything that doesn't serve the mission. He delegates. He ignores meetings he doesn't need. He doesn't fill his schedule, sharpens it. Take inventory of your life. What's draining your time? What apps, people, or habits are eating away at your energy? Start your mornings with intent. Elon wakes up around 7 a.m. and immediately gets into deep work, no scrolling, no email checking. Just straight into problem solving. Try it for a week. Wake up and dive into the task that matters most before the world gets loud. It'll feel uncomfortable at first, but soon, it'll feel like power. Next, protect your decision with action. Elon says, if something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel inspired. But success doesn't require perfection. It requires momentum. And momentum begins with one brave, unreasonable action. Maybe that's making the call, starting the prototype, booking the flight, signing the lease, writing the first page. Whatever it is, don't wait for certainty. Elon didn't know if Tesla would survive. In fact, both Tesla and SpaceX almost died. But he kept moving. He doubled down when others would have quit. That's not luck, that's obsession with the mission. You don't need Elon's IQ. You need his willingness to act. He's not superhuman, he's focused. And that's something you can train. Today, start by cutting one major distraction. Block time for deep focus. Decide on one mission, just one that deserves 30 days of your full commitment. Write it down. Say it out loud. Own it. Because today isn't just another Monday, or just another day you hit snooze. Today is the day you decide. And that decision could be the one that rewrites everything. How you start your morning determines everything. And if you're serious about transformation, there's one place you need to begin before the world starts asking for your time. Elon Musk doesn't waste his mornings. He uses them to strike, not to scroll. Before emails, before texts, before the noise. That first hour is sacred. Because when you win the morning, you win the mission. Let's be real. The average person wakes up and immediately opens their phone. They check notifications, scroll through social media, and download everyone else's agenda before even brushing their teeth. That's not routine, that's surrender. Elon doesn't live that way. His mornings are built for clarity, focus, and force. So what exactly does Elon do? He wakes up around 7 a.m. No long rituals, no endless journaling. He gets to work. Within 30 minutes of waking up, he's solving his most urgent problems. He calls it first principles thinking. Instead of asking, what have others done? He asks, what's actually true? And what's the most effective way forward from scratch? Here's the shift. Stop looking for routines to copy. Start building a ritual that reflects your biggest mission. If you're trying to build something that matters, your brand, your startup, your mindset, you need your mornings to become a launch pad, not a loop of distractions. Try this. Tomorrow morning, don't touch your phone for the first 60 minutes. Instead, do this. 1. Drink water. 2. Move your body, walk, stretch, or do 20 push-ups. 3. Sit down and write one sentence. Today, my mission is. 4. Spend 30 focused minutes working on your most important task before the world gets in. This isn't about perfection, it's about intention. Elon says, you get paid in proportion to the difficulty of the problems you solve. That means your brain needs to be sharp, not scattered. Those morning hours, they're your brain's prime time. Don't waste them checking someone else's life. There's something else Musk is ruthless about: email and meeting control. He avoids unnecessary meetings. He doesn't sit in calls unless absolutely required. He keeps communication short, direct, and efficient. Why? Because attention is his currency. And the more you let others spend it for you, the poorer your focus becomes. Start thinking like that. Look at your calendar. What meetings can you remove? What calls can be handled with a 3-line email? Your time is your life, and Elon protects his like it's oxygen. But there's a deeper layer to this. Elon doesn't just manage time, he manages intensity. He's not always working long hours because of ambition. He's working with such obsessive energy because of belief. He believes the stakes are high. SpaceX isn't just a rocket company to him, it's humanity's future. Tesla isn't just Carsit's survival through sustainability. That's the secret. Purpose multiplies productivity. So ask yourself, what's your SpaceX? What's your Tesla? What problem are you solving that's bigger than comfort? When you answer that, your mornings will become something else entirely. They'll feel urgent, alive, full of potential. Here's your challenge this week. No phone for the first hour each morning. Wake up and pour that energy into one bold action toward your goal every single day. No breaks, no excuses. Build that streak and watch how fast your identity begins to shift. Elon Musk didn't get where he is because he had more time. He had more clarity, more intensity, and more mornings won. Now, it's your turn. Because if you win enough mornings, you win the month. And if you win the month, you transform your life. Most people are trapped in the next 24 hours. Elon Musk lives in the next 20 years. While the world scrolls through trends and chases overnight success, Musk is quietly mapping the next century. And that's what makes him dangerous, not just his talent, but his timeline. He doesn't think in quick wins. He thinks in civilizations. If you want to transform your life, you need to stretch your vision, because small goals don't inspire massive action. What fuels Elon isn't money or attention, it's the future. Colonizing Mars, ending reliance on fossil fuels, creating sustainable AI. His goals aren't just hard, they sound impossible. And that's the point. When the mission is big enough, it forces you to become someone new. Here's the paradox. Elon thinks in decades, but he works in days. He knows that the future is built from relentless focus on the present. That's the real key. Long-term vision paired with daily urgency. So here's the shift. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Not just what job title you'll have, but who you'll be, what you'll stand for, what problem you'll have solved. Write that down. Then ask the Elon question, what would it take to get there in half the time? That's how he works. He doesn't just follow timelines, he compresses them. When SpaceX was behind schedule, he pushed teams to do in weeks what was planned for months. Why? Because urgency breaks excuses. And when you bring a 10-year mindset into your daily life, something strange happens. You stop wasting time on anything that doesn't move you forward. Let's be honest. Most people underestimate what they can do in 10 years and overestimate what they can do in 10 days. That's why they burn out, jump ship, start over. They chase results instead of building systems. Elon doesn't chase, he engineer. That's your next move. Build your system. Create a 1-month roadmap tied to a 10-year goal. What can you do in the next 30 days that your future self will thank you for? It could be launching a prototype, building a habit, learning a skill, writing 30 pages, making 30 calls. Elon doesn't fantasize, he executes. One step at a time, without letting the mountain intimidate him. Think of it this way. If your long-term goal is to build a business, your 30-day plan might be to validate your idea with 10 real conversations. If your goal is to become a public speaker, your 30-day mission could be to post one video every day. If you want to become financially independent, maybe your task is to read 4 books on investing and apply 3 lessons from each. Stop measuring your success by where you are. Start measuring it by how far you're aiming. Another Elon tactic? Reversing the problem. Most people ask, how can I make this easier? Elon asks, how do I solve this with 0 assumptions? He strips problems to their root. That's how he builds things no one else dares to try. So what assumptions are holding you back? That you're too late? Too inexperienced? Too underfunded? Elon started Tesla when the auto industry was dominated by giants. He launched SpaceX when aerospace experts told him it was impossible. They laughed. Now they compete to keep up. You don't need perfect conditions. You need the courage to bet on your vision and back it with consistent, focused action. Here's your challenge this week. Map your 10-year vision, then define one concrete 30-day mission that aligns with it. Then go even deeper, break it into weekly goals, then daily habits. That's how you become inevitable. Remember, thinking big doesn't mean waiting forever. It means aiming higher and acting faster. That's how Elon Musk moves, and that's how you will too. The world isn't waiting, neither should you. Most people fear failure like it's death. Elon Musk treats it like oxygen. He doesn't just accept failure, he designs for it, builds it into the plan. Because when you're trying to do something bold, something no one's done before, failure isn't a risk. It's a requirement. SpaceX failed 3 rocket launches in a row, millions of dollars gone, public humiliation. The media wrote him off, investors walked away, but Elon didn't. He said, I will never give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated. 1 month later, the 4th rocket launched and it changed history. That's not just persistence, that's a relationship with failure that most people never build. Here's the truth. If you're not failing, you're playing too small. You're staying where it's safe. But nothing extraordinary lives in the safety zone. You have to stretch beyond your current limits, and when you do, something will break. That's the point. Breaking things is how you discover what works. Elon doesn't fear the crash, fears stagnation. That's the deeper difference. Most people avoid risk to protect their ego. Musk embraces risk to grow his mission. So how do you rewire your brain to do the same? First, redefine failure. It's not the opposite of success. It's the trail that leads to it. Every failed experiment teaches you something. Every public loss hardens your focus. The only true failure is quitting. Think of failure like a lab test. Every attempt gives you new data. What worked? What didn't? What changed? What can you do better tomorrow? Here's what you need to do. Schedule your failures. That's right, make them part of the plan. Want to launch a product? Release the beta version early, even if it's messy. Want to become a speaker? Bomb on stage if you have to. Want to be a content creator? Post 30 times in 30 days 7 if only 2 go viral. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is learning speed. That's what Elon does differently. He learns faster than everyone else. Why? Because he's willing to fail more than everyone else. SpaceX didn't perfect its rockets overnight. They tested, failed, iterated, and launched again. Same with Tesla, same with Neuralink. And every time the world mocked him, he just kept building. You need to apply that same resilience to your 30-day transformation. Ask yourself this: what's one thing I've been avoiding because I'm afraid to fail? Now flip it. Make it your next mission. Not to succeed, but to try anyway. Because once you remove the fear of failure, you become unstoppable. Here's your challenge this week. Take one bold action you've been avoiding because of fear. Start that business page, send that pitch, launch that idea, record that video, apply for that opportunity. Do it, even if it might not work. Especially if it might not work. Because on the other side of that fear isn't failure, it's power. The power of momentum, the power of proof, the power of being the kind of person who moves anyway. Elon's greatest strength isn't innovation, it's resilience. And that's what you're building now, not just success, but strength, grit, mental armor. People will doubt you, you'll doubt yourself. The launch might crash, the numbers might flop, you might stumble, look foolish, lose money, and still, your job is to rise. Again and again and again. Because if Elon gave up after 3 failures, there'd be no SpaceX. If he gave up when Tesla almost went bankrupt, there'd be no Moon OS. If you give up now, you'll never know who you could have become. So, fall forward, fail louder, break through. This is your moment. This is your launch window. And you're just getting started. Here's a question that could change everything. What would happen if you focused like Elon Musk just for 1 month? Not kind of focused, not multitasking. Real, deep, unshakable focus. Because while most people are overwhelmed, distracted, and pulled in 100 directions, Elon is building rockets, designing electric cars, launching satellites, and still finding time to reinvent transportation with the Boring Company. How? One word: ruthlessness. Musk isn't just productive, he's selective. He doesn't let his time get stolen. He guards it like it's more valuable than money. And here's the twist. It is. You can always earn more money. You will never get more time. That's why Musk uses a system called time blocking. Every minute of his day is planned down to the 5-minute mark. Not because he's a robot, but because when your vision is massive, you don't have time to drift. From 7:0 a.m. to late at night, Musk splits his days into blocks. Engineering time, executive reviews, emails, product design, strategy. He batches similar tasks together to avoid context switching, the mental lag that kills most people's productivity. That's your first lesson. Control your calendar, someone else will. Most people wake up and let the day come to them. Musk wakes up and goes to war with purpose. Meetings are short, emails are efficient, and distractions? Eliminated. He once said, "Excessive meetings are the blight of big companies." So he cut them. He recommends walking out of a meeting if you're not adding value. Imagine doing that in your life. Cutting the unnecessary calls, the pointless group chats, the low-value habits. You don't need more hours. You need fewer leaks. Let's break it down. Every day, Musk asks, 1. What's the most important thing I can do today to move the mission forward? 2. What's wasting my time, attention, or energy, and how can I eliminate it? Now, it's your turn. For the next 30 days, block your day in 5 segments. Deep work, 2-3 hours. Focused, no distractions, phone off. Browser closed. Execution, 1-2 hours. Emails, admin, logistics, batch it all. Learning, 30-60 min. Read, study, apply something new. Recovery, 1 hour. Walk, rest, disconnect. No stimulation. Review, 15 min. What moved? What didn't? What's next? This isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. If you don't choose your focus, the world will choose it for you. And it will choose endlessly scrolling, reacting, and comparing. Elon doesn't multitask, he multi-focuses. He jumps between massive missions, but in each moment, he's fully locked in. That's what you need. Not more hustle, but more clarity. And clarity requires elimination. Look at your environment. Is it built for focus or distraction? Turn off notifications. Schedule social media, not check it whenever. Build a space that signals, I'm here to work on my legacy. Set rules, not for discipline, but for freedom. Freedom to build, to think, to create your next move without noise. Musk also follows the 80-20 rule. 80% of outcomes come from 20% of efforts. He's always asking, what 20% of my actions drive the most results? The rest? Delegates, deletes, or deprioritices. So here's your challenge this week. Audit your time. Write down how you spend every hour for 3 days. Be brutally honest. Then ask, what's building me? What's draining me? What's distracting me? Cut the noise. Focus on the signal. Because transformation doesn't come from chaos. It comes from alignment between your goals, your time, and your attention. Musk doesn't just work harder, he works sharper. And when you do the same, people will wonder how you're doing so much with the same 24 hours. They won't see the system, they won't see the planning, they'll just see the results. And those results start now. What if everything you believed about your limits was just an assumption? That's how Elon Musk looks at life. Where others say, that's just how it's done, Elon asks, but why? That simple question is the gateway to everything. It's how he went from a kid with a physics textbook to a man launching rockets and building billion-dollar companies across 5 industries. His secret? First principles thinking. It's not a buzzword, it's a mental discipline. A way of breaking down any problem, not by analogy, not by copying others, but by reducing it to the most basic truths and rebuilding from the ground up. Here's how most people think. They say, this is how it's always been done. They rely on convention. They copy the surface, not the structure. But Elon? He goes deeper. He breaks things down to physics, to logic, to cost per atom. Take SpaceX. Rockets used to cost $100 million to launch. Musk asked, what are the materials required to build a rocket? Aluminum, carbon fiber, titanium. Then he researched the raw costs and realized he could build one for a fraction of the price. Not by copying NASA, but by rebuilding the problem from scratch. That's first principles. And you can apply it right now in your goals, your business, your mindset. Let's say you want to get in shape. Most people follow fad diets or random workout apps. First principles thinking asks, what does the human body need to burn fat and build strength? What are the raw fundamentals? Answer: sleep, nutrient, dense food. Progressive, resistance. Consistency. You strip the problem down, then build up only what's essential. Or maybe you want to start a business. Instead of asking, what are others doing? Ask, what problem do people have that I can solve better or cheaper? Don't build a company. Solve a root-level problem. That's how Tesla began solving the inefficiency of combustion engines and the global addiction to oil. Elon once said, I think it's important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy, because analogies keep you in the box. First principles destroy the box. Here's how to use it. 1. Define the problem clearly. Don't be vague. Be brutally specific. 2. Break it down to its core components. What are the undeniable facts? The raw materials? The physics? 3. Challenge every assumption. Why do I believe this is true? Is it based on evidence or tradition? 4. Rebuild a solution from the ground up, without copying others, without shortcuts, with clarity. You don't need to be a genius to use this. You need curiosity, courage, the ability to think independently in a world obsessed with conformity. And here's the twist. First principles thinking doesn't just solve external problems, it shatters internal ones too. I'm too old to start. What age must someone be to learn? None. I don't have enough time. What's the minimum effective dose per day? I'm not qualified. Who decides qualification? A degree or results? Most limits are inherited, but they're not real. They're mental scripts passed down, absorbed, accepted without question. Musk doesn't just reject those scripts. He rewrites them. You can too. Here's your mission this week. Pick one area of your life that feels stuck or limited. Then break it down using first principles. Ask, what do I know for sure? What assumptions am I making? What would this look like if I started from zero? Do this with your time, your habits, your fears, your plans. You'll be shocked how many things you're doing out of default, not design. And once you remove false limits, you unlock something rare. Original thinking. That's how Elon disrupts industries. He doesn't follow maps, he draws new ones. That's your next level skill, not just working hard, but thinking better. Because when you rebuild your thinking, you rebuild your life. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. If you never take risks, you'll never build anything legendary. Elon Musk doesn't fear risk, he uses it. Not because he's reckless, but because he understands something most people don't. Risk is not the enemy. Staying comfortable is. People think Musk is fearless. But the reality is, he feels fear, he just doesn't let it control the decision. What makes him different is how he calculates risk. Not emotionally, but logically. Not by asking, what if I fail? But by asking, what's the worst that can happen, and can I survive it? In 2002, Elon sold PayPal and became a multi-millionaire. Most people would have retired, bought a yacht, played it safe. Instead, he bet everything, his fortune, reputation, and energy on 3 insanely risky companies: Tesla, SpaceX, and Solar City. At one point, all 3 were failing. His bank account was nearly zero. Friends begged him to stop. He didn't. Why? Because Elon knew the biggest risk wasn't losing money, it was not trying. That's the Elon edge. Calculated, high-stakes bets backed by obsession, preparation, and execution. He doesn't jump blindly, he studies deeply. He gathers information. He absorbs failure. And then he moves boldly. Here's how you do the same. Step 1. Redefine risk. Most people define risk as uncertainty. Elon defines it as potential upside versus survivable downside. Ask, what's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? If the worst happens, will I still be alive, growing, and able to try again? If the answer is yes, you move forward. Step 2. Start asymmetric. Look for decisions where the upside is massive and the downside is minimal. For example, launching a YouTube channel, emailing someone far above your level, starting a small side hustle with no funding, learning a skill that makes you valuable. Most people avoid these because of fear, but fear is just imagination used in the wrong direction. Step 3. Build your tolerance. Risk, like a muscle, grows with exposure. Start small, make bold asks. Say yes when it's uncomfortable. Elon didn't start with rockets. He built up from code, from failure, from micro-courage. Every time you take a smart risk and survive, your self-belief compounds. Step 4. Be willing to look stupid. That's the price of greatness. Musk has been mocked, dismissed, called crazy. In 2008, Tesla was called a joke. In 2012, SpaceX launches kept failing. People laughed. They're not laughing now. Here's what most people don't get. Elon expects resistance. He doesn't crave approval. He craves impact. And he's willing to endure criticism to reach it. You must be too. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding because of how I'll look? What would I attempt if I didn't care about judgment? What crazy idea keeps haunting me because it just might work? That's the one. Now, let's bring it back to your 30-day transformation. Take one bold, calculated risk this week. Send that message, launch that offer, make that pitch. Commit to something bigger than your comfort zone. Write down the risk, define the upside, define the downside. Then build a plan to reduce the downside and act. Because every massive leap Elon made started with one uncomfortable step. The world rewards those who move before they feel ready. Who trust action over perfection? Who bet on themselves when no one else will? That's your power now. You don't need permission, you need motion. The road ahead isn't safe, but safe has never built greatness. If you want to outpace the world, you don't need to be born brilliant. You need to learn faster. That's Elon Musk's real superpower. It's not just innovation, it's not just risk, it's how fast he learns. Most people stop learning after school. Elon never stops. He taught himself rocket science. He devoured physics, economics, coding, engineering, and energy theory on his own. Not because someone told him to, but because his mission demanded it. Here's the truth. You don't need 10 years to master something. You need the right system and the right intensity. Elon once said, "You can learn anything you want. You just have to put in the effort and do it quickly." He treats knowledge like a weapon collected, sharpened, and used to break barriers. Let's break down how you can build this same learning velocity. Step 1. Follow curiosity, not just goals. Elon doesn't chase diplomas, chases understanding. He asks insanely specific questions, then devours the answers. His curiosity is relentless. Childlike, borderline obsessive, you need to become deeply curious. Instead of asking, what should I learn? Ask, what do I need to understand to reach my goal? Then chase that trail like your future depends on it, because it does. Step 2. Learn the fundamentals first. Most people skim the surface. Elon dives into the core concepts. Whether it's physics or economics, he wants to understand the laws beneath the system. That's where true intelligence lives. If you want to learn fast, don't memorize, build a mental framework. Start with the roots, then add the branches. It's like building a tree. If the trunk is solid, the leaves grow fast. Step 3. Read like your life depends on it. Elon reads 2 books per day during deep study phases, not just about rockets, about everything. Biology, history, AI, leadership. He once said, "I read a lot of books and talk to a lot of people. That's how I learned." Here's how to level up your reading. Start with 30 minutes a day. Read 1 book deeply, not 5 books lightly. Highlight, write notes, and reflect. And remember, the goal isn't to finish books. it's to absorb ideas. Step 4. Teach what you learn. This is Elon's secret weapon. When you can teach it, you own it. He breaks down what he learns and explains it to employees, to investors, to the public. It forces clarity, no fluff, no jargon. If you want to master a topic, teach it to a 12-year-old. If they don't get it, you don't either. Step 5. Learn across disciplines. Elon connects ideas from different fields. He combines physics with design, engineering with psychology, business with storytelling. This makes him dangerous. While others are specialists, she's a synthesizer. The more diverse your inputs, the more original your outputs. Want to stand out? Don't just study your niche, study everything. Now, let's talk application. What should you learn in the next 30 days? Here's your challenge this week. Pick one mission-critical skill that would tank your momentum. Public speaking, copywriting, product design, emotional control.
Now, do this. Spend 45 minutes a day on that skill. Read, watch, apply, repeat. Track what you're learning. Teach it to someone else by the end of the week. You'll be shocked how much you grow when you compress time. Most people drift for years. Elon compresses a decade of learning into 6 months. Not because he's magical, but because he's intentional. Learning velocity is not about speed for the sake of speed. It's about momentum. Every new idea fuels your clarity. Every skill you sharpen increases your leverage. So don't wait for school. Don't wait for permission. Build your mind like Musk builds rockets fast, focused, and always launching higher. How far would you go for your mission? Would you give up sleep, comfort, your weekends, everything? Elon Musk did, and still does. This isn't a myth. It's not motivation fluff. Elon Musk has repeatedly worked 100-hour weeks for years across multiple companies while still being the chief innovator, decision maker, and visionary. He once slept on the Tesla factory floor just to be closer to the action. When most people would crash under pressure, Elon leaned in. Why? Because he understands something most people don't. When your mission is massive, your effort has to match. Let's be real. Talent is overrated. The people who win aren't always the smartest. They're the most relentless, the most disciplined, the most obsessed.
Musk doesn't just have drive, he has operational insanity. But here's the part that matters to you. You don't have to work 100 hours a week, but you do have to outwork your past self. You have to go further than your excuses. You have to create discipline so sharp, it cuts through distraction, doubt, and laziness. Let's break down how Elon builds and sustains this. 1. Set a mission so big it demands everything. Elon doesn't work like this just for money. He's trying to make life multiplanetary. He's trying to reshape the future of energy, transport, and AI. That's why he pushes so hard. His mission is existential. Most people burn out because they chase goals that don't inspire them. But if your mission truly matters to you, your effort becomes devotion. What's your mission? What are you willing to suffer for? Answer that, and your work ethic will triple too. Cut the comfort addictions. Musk doesn't chase comfort, he sacrifices it. No luxury office, no separation from chaos, just work, focus, impact. If you want to build a life of power and purpose, you have to rewire your relationship with comfort. Start small, wake up earlier, train your body, delay gratification daily. Over time, you'll begin to crave discomfort, because discomfort equals growth. 3. Manage time like a weapon. Elon splits his day into 5-minute blocks. Every minute is accounted for. Meetings, decisions, design, strategy, thinking. He doesn't spend time. He deploys it. Want to level up? Audit your day. Cut the fluff. Track your time. Use a planner. Set 90-minute sprints. Eliminate low output hours. You don't need more time. You need better use of the time you already have. 4. Work when you're tired. Show up when it's hard. This is what separates leaders from dreamers. Musk doesn't wait for motivation. He shows up tired, stressed, overwhelmed, and still executes. Because success isn't built on how you feel, it's built on what you do consistently. Train this muscle. Do hard work first thing in the morning. Keep promises to yourself. Work through resistance to know around it. That's how greatness compounds. 5. Align your environment with your discipline. Elon surrounds himself with A players. People who move fast, think deeply, and execute relentlessly. No room for slackers. If you want elite output, you need an elite environment. That means limit time with low-energy people. Design your space for focus. Remove clutter, add clarity. Build routines that remove friction. Discipline doesn't start with willpower. It starts with structure. Here's your challenge for this week. Double your output. Not by working longer, but by working smarter and harder during your prime hours. Wake up 1 hour earlier. Work in 90-minute deep focus blocks. Track every hour. Cut your biggest distraction by 80%. Make a to-do list the night before. Execute without hesitation. You'll be amazed what 7 days of high-performance discipline can do. Elon Musk isn't superhuman. He's just obsessed, focused, and disciplined beyond normal limits. And here's the key. You can train this, day by day, hour by hour, by choosing the hard path, the growth path over and over again. If you want the life most people dream of, you have to do what most people avoid. Relentlessly, repeatedly, unapologetically. And when you do, everything changes. What if everything you believed was just an assumption? What if your biggest limitations weren't even real? Elon Musk doesn't think like most people. He doesn't follow trends. He doesn't copy what already exists. He rebuilds the world by going back to the foundation and constructing reality from first principles. And if you want to transform your life, your thinking has to evolve the same way. So, what are first principles? They're the fundamental truths, the unbreakable laws of how things work. While most people reason by analogy, doing what's been done, Elon breaks things down to their core parts, then rebuilds them with complete originality. Let's take a real example. Everyone said building rockets is too expensive. NASA spends hundreds of millions. Why even try? But Elon asked a different question. What are the raw materials of a rocket? Aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, copper. What if we buy those materials directly and build it ourselves? That's first principles. He didn't ask, what's the standard? He asked, what's the truth? That mindset saved 90% of the co-stand, gave birth to SpaceX. This is the exact mental shift you need to apply in your life. Whether it's your business, your goals, your beliefs, or your identity if you're operating on hand-me-down thinking, you'll never break through. Let's break it down into a process you can use. Step 1. Identify the problem or belief. Choose something you want to improve. Your income, your productivity, your health, your business idea. Now ask, what assumptions am I making here? For example, I need a degree to be successful. I don't have time to start a business. I need money to make money. Write those down. Step 2. Break it down to the fundamentals. This is where the magic begins. Strip the belief down to its core elements. Ask yourself, what's actually true? What can be disproven? What parts are based on fear, not fact? You'll usually find that 80% of your limits are based on social norms, fear, or outdated models. Example, you don't need a perfect product to launch. You need a real problem and a minimum viable solution. You don't need to work 12 hours a day. You need to remove the 3 hours of distraction. Step 3. Rebuild from the ground up. Now that you have the fundamentals, reconstruct your strategy using truth, not tradition. Ask, what's the simplest path forward? What's the fastest way to test this? What's essential and what's noise? This unlocks creativity, speed, and power. You're not copying, you're creating. That's how Elon builds things no one else can even imagine. He's not smarter, he just thinks deeper, and you can too. Here's your first principles challenge for the final week. Pick one major belief holding you back. Something like, I'm not good with money. I can't be successful without connections. I'm too late to start. Now, 1. Write down that belief. 2. Break it into components. 3. Identify what's true and what's assumed. 4. Rebuild a new belief and action plan from truth. Example, old belief, I need funding to start my business. New truth, I can pre-sell my product and fund it with customer revenue. This is how Elon creates impossible results. By reprogramming reality using truth as the foundation. When you stop copying the past, you start shaping the future. When you stop asking what's normal and start asking what's possible, you unlock the power to create a life no one's ever seen before. This is the mindset of transformation. This is the blueprint of innovation, and now it's yours. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You need truth, grit, and the courage to build something new. Because here's the final truth. You are not limited by your circumstances. You're limited by your beliefs. And those, you can change. Starting today, starting now. Thanks for watching my video. If you found it helpful or inspiring, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your one comment can motivate us to create even better content. Stay curious, keep learning, and never stop growing. See you in the next video.